السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين وتابعيهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, inshallah, today we are doing the question 169, and it says up to how many categories would the dhulm, fusuq and nifaq would be categorized into. How many categories that the dhulm is wrongdoing, injustice, fusuq is wickedness, and nifaq is hypocrisy. So he's asking about how many categories do we have of each one of them. He said that each one of these terms, they are categorized into two categories. Each one of them has two types. Akbar, greater one, and that is disbelief, kufr, yani takes one outside of Islam. And asghar, smaller or minor or lesser, that is less than that, less than the greater one, the greater kufr. Now, question 170, he's asking us for an example for each of al-dhulm, al-akbar and al-asghar, the greater injustice and the lesser injustice, wrongdoing, injustice, or wrongdoing, dhulm. The example of the greater injustice is what Allah Ta'ala mentioned in His statement, do not call from other than Allah that which does not benefit nor harm you. If you did, then you will be then from the zalimeen. So the one who invokes or calls or supplicates other than Allah, he is from the zalimeen, wrongdoers here. Wrongdoers meaning disbelievers, right? Disbelievers. Also the statement of Allah, inna shirka la dhulmun azim. Truly, shirk, association of partners in worship with Allah, is great injustice. Dhulm, great injustice. Here dhulm is referring to the shirk, which is the kufr, right? The greater kufr. It's referring to the greater kufr. Also, Allah Ta'ala said, surely the one who associates partners in worship with Allah, then Allah has prohibited for him paradise, and his abode is the fire, and al-zalimeen lil-zalimeen, and wrongdoers will have no supporters. وَمَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ. Once again, al-zalimeen here means al-kafirin. Al-kafirin who are outside of Islam. Now, the example for al-dhulm, the injustice or the wrongdoing, that is lesser than that, lesser than the greater disbelief, is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in His statement in Surah At-Talaq. And fear your Lord, do not expel them from their homes. This is about the women, the wives. Do not expel them from their homes, and they should not go out except if they come with, or if they perform or do bifahishatin mubayyina, with an obscene or clearly obscene action or statement. And these are the limits of Allah, and the one who transgresses the limits of Allah, then he has zalama, he has wronged himself. Zalama, zalama yadlimu zalim, right? The plural is zalimun. Zalama is the verb to commit injustice, to commit a wrongdoing, to do wrong. Zalama. So the person is called zalim, the one who does it. The doer of dhulm is called zalim. So here, the one who does not observe the limits of Allah regarding his wife, he expels her from the home, then he has transgressed the boundaries and the limits that Allah set, and therefore he has wronged himself. He has committed wrong. Now the wrong here, dhulm, is it the one that takes one outside of Islam? The answer is no. Right? It's a sin. Right? طيب. Also the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلَا تُمْسِكُوهُنَّ ضِرَارًا لِتَعْتَدُوا. Do not keep them, referring to the wives. Bring them or take them. Do not take them. What does that? When you're reading the but do not that ayah. وَلَا تُمْسِكُوهُنَّ ضِرَارًا. Yes. What about it? I just said the translation. Do not take them back to hurt them. Do not take them back to hurt them. I don't know what the Noble Quran says here, but amsaka is when you hold, you keep, right? So, ana amsik. See, I'm holding the cup, right? Hold this, right? So here, amsaka, yani to keep and to. So whether you take them back or otherwise, right? Do not keep the wife in order to inflict harm upon them, right? Yani, do not keep them in order to harm them. Yani, you don't want her, let her go, release her. To transgress, that is to transgress against them. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ فَقَدْ ظَلَمَ نَفْسَهُ. And the one who does that, then he has wronged himself. Again, he has fallen into wrongdoing. He has fallen into wrongdoing. Again, here, the dhulm that is mentioned in the ayah here is a sin. This is a disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not take them back to hurt them. That's one of the translations that is in there. Do not take them back to hurt them. Now it says what the next. Let's since you asked a question, one of the closest means of the getting those ayat is the translation. It's not translated yet. They are working on it. They are working on it, inshallah. So 231 Surah Al-Baqarah. So they are going to translate it, inshallah. But this is the Tafsir Al-Muyassar from the King Fahd complex by a group of scholars, right? So it says, if you divorced women and their waiting period is about to elapse or to finish, then take them back, while your intention is to establish their rights according to the way that is legally good, and also customarily good. So it is known to be good by the Sharia, by the Islamic law, and by the customs of the people, or leave them until their waiting period finishes. Then it says, and beware, this is the part that's our part here, and beware that your taking them back would be with the intention of harming them in order to transgress against their rights. And the one who does that, then he has wronged himself by him becoming deserving to be punished. Deserving to be punished. Right? So this is the case. So if once again if he should not be keeping the wife with him or taking her back just to be harmful towards her or to hurt her. The next question, 171. What is the example of each of the greater fisq and the lesser fisq? Fisq is wickedness, right? Do they use another term for it there other than wickedness? Disobedience. Could be. So the example, he says, of the greater one is the disbelief, right? Al-kufr. What Allah mentioned, that إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. Surely the hypocrites are the fasiqun, the wicked. And his statement, إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ كَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَفَسَقَ. Iblis, he's from the jinn, he fasaqa. Right? This is the word fisq in the verb form, fasaqa. He committed wickedness, right? An amri rabbih, right? Of course, Iblis is a disbeliever, and the action that he did was an act of kufr, right? What he did was an act of kufr, and here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the term fasaqa for it. Also, وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْقَرْيَةِ الَّتِي كَانَتْ تَعْمَلُ الْخَبَائِثِ. This is regarding Prophet Lut alayhi salatu wasalam. We saved him from the village that used to, the people of the village that used to be doing, that the people of that village used to do khaba'ith. They used to do filthy actions, and that is the sodomy and the village of Sodom, right? So إنهم كانوا قوم سوء فاسقين, right? The word fasiqeen is used for them, and we know that his people were disbelievers. They disbelieved in him alayhi as-salatu was-salam. Now the example of the fisq or fusuq that is less than the greater kufr, Allah's statement regarding those who accuse the chaste believers, وَلَا تَقْبَلُ لَهُمْ شَهَادَةً أَبَدًا وَأُولَئِكَ هُمْ الْفَاسِقُونَ. Do not accept their testimony, period, or at all, and such are the fasiqun, those who accuse chaste women that they have committed, or chaste men that they have committed adultery, then they are called fasiqun. Now, if a believer did that, he doesn't become outside of Islam because he was accusing someone of committing adultery. It is a sin, but it's not considered adultery. Not kufr, yes. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِنْ جَاءَكُمْ فَاسِقٌ. If a fasiq comes to you with news, then تَبَيَّنُوا, then verify the news. أَن تُصِيبُوا قَوْمًا بِجَهَالَةٍ فَتُصْبِحُوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلْتُمْ نَادِمِينَ. Lest that you insult or slander or inflict harm on a people with ignorance, then you will become, for what you have done, regretful, right? So this is if a fasiq comes with news, right? So he could be a believer, and that believer, and this is what the ayah is talking about here actually, regarding a believer who brings news. So if that person is bringing news but it's a lie, Allah is calling him in this ayah a fasiq. But by lying, it doesn't mean he is outside of Islam now. He committed the greater kufr, right? It's a sin that he has committed. The next question, the example for...
Here is that fasaka means is opposite fasaka. This is fasikun, then you said fasaka in other word.
Fasaqa is the verb.
Verb.
It is the verb in the past tense, fasaqa, for one person, singular, third person. The example of the greater this nifaq, hypocrisy, and the smaller or the lesser nifaq. The example for the greater nifaq is what we mentioned before in the ayat in the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah. The beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah. إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُمْ. The hypocrites, the ayat in the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah was talking about the munafiqun who are the disbelieving. Yani those who committed the greater kufr. This one here, they are deceiving, they are trying to cheat and deceive Allah, and He is going to deceive them. Up to the statement of Allah, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ فِي الدَّرْكِ الْأَسْفَلِ مِنَ النَّارِ, in the lower rank of the fire. This is in Surah An-Nisa from 142 to 145. Also, the ayah from Surah Al-Munafiqun. If the hypocrites come to you, they say, we bear witness that you are the messenger of Allah, and Allah knows you are His messenger, and Allah testifies that the hypocrites, al-munafiqeen, lakadibun, are lying. Right? So those are the hypocrites who are the ones who are disbelievers outside of Islam, and other than these of the verses. Now the example of an-nifaq, hypocrisy, which is the lesser type of nifaq, hypocrisy, is what the Prophet ﷺ mentioned. Ayatul munafiqi thalath, the sign of the hypocrite. The signs of the hypocrite are three. If he speaks, he lies. And if he promises, he breaks the promise. And if he was entrusted with something, he will betray. Right? He will not keep the trust. He will cheat and breach the whatever trust you have entrusted him with. He will not keep it. Also, the hadith 4, the one who has them, then he would be a hypocrite. He would be a hypocrite. One aspect mentioned in the hadith is إِذَا خَاصَمَ فَجَرٍ. When he gets into a dispute, he transgresses in his dispute. Right? And he goes beyond his limits. That's one of the signs of hypocrisy. And he has an issue with you, then it reaches the father and the family, and everybody is involved in, and anyone who knows you is part of it also, right? And so on and so forth, right? Or you have an issue, a specific one with him, right? Then he includes many other things. He brings many other issues which you are innocent of, right? Right? So like he brings other things in his right? So this is the case. إذا خاصم فجر. Right? طيب. Next question deals with السحر والساحر, magic. Yes.
Can you recap what makes you out, what makes you in? Because major. Recap quickly, inshallah.
This is you going to tell me. A nice question, wallahi. Nice question. I want to write it down. So what is the defining line, or how do you draw the line between the major and the minor? This requires that you will define the major and define the minor.
One who outrightly go against the Quran, Sunnah, the Prophet, takes away.
Well, the one who abuses his wife, this goes against the Quran and the Sunnah, but is he outside of Islam?
No.
Okay, so you need to fine-tune your answer. Right?
Sometimes the material gain, they might lie.
So this takes outside of Islam or no?
No.
No. So
He promised that he prayed for some time, he give something and
Mhm.
Indian is known, but still he's a Muslim.
Yes. So now the question of the brother, how do you distinguish between major and minor? Because it came up so many times. You have kufr akbar and asghar. You have shirk akbar and asghar. You have also. You have fusuq akbar and asghar. You have nifaq akbar and asghar.
Disbelief take away from the Islam. Disbelief.
Okay.
And
But it's called disbelief too. It's major disbelief and minor disbelief. It is also called disbelief. Right?
All the three types, the greater are taking one out of the greater one.
The greater one takes one outside of Islam. Well, that's one of the differences between major and minor. How do you differentiate between major and minor? How do you differentiate?
It is actually two things. We learned deeds of disobedience and the deeds of disobedience. It's a minor.
Mhm.
Deeds of the belief, which itself disbelieving in itself, and Allah. Then it is totally is out of Islam. So based on that, hypocrisy also, one who disbelieve by heart,
Mhm.
only actions to show up that he disbelieves himself. For another category, there's people who promise and lie for a small material gain or something like. They're still the Muslims because they are act of disbelief.
Mhm.
Only that time.
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe that is good.
Are you satisfied with the answer? Can you differentiate? Were you able to differentiate between major and minor?
No.
You are going to differentiate between them?
Yeah.
Okay. Give it a try.
One is a major Sheikh Abdulmonem.
Mhm.
It totally take off out of the Muslim.
All right.
Like
We agreed on that.
complete.
But how do you differentiate it between the one that takes outside or doesn't?
Yeah, he by mouth and his, he said no. I disbelieve completely.
Okay, let me go back. I'm going to ask you a question. Iman, what is Iman? Tell me the components of Iman.
Iman is faith.
Faith.
Yeah.
Tell me the...
faith in heart, faith in tongue,
Mhm.
faith in
Okay.
action.
The action and the heart totally the same. All this is the same. Mouth and this in the heart is the same thing.
Mhm.
We believe. Totally
Oh, there are
strong-
terms. There are...
faith.
Tell me the terms that are in the book. Statement and action, right? Iman is statement action. Statement of what and action of what?
Statement.
Tongue.
What
Yes.
I say,
Statement is
Tell us.
denying of
Tell us what's in the book. We said Iman is statement and action, right? Then the statement is statement of what?
statement.
Yes.
6. Iman is based on 6.
Uh-huh.
Believe the kalima,
Mhm.
believe in angel, you believe in books, and believe in other,
Mhm.
you believe in how many days?
Six.
Six.
You told us the 6 articles of faith. Yes.
So whoever reject any one of them,
Mhm.
then is out of the fold of Islam.
That is correct. But then we are asking about something specific now here. We said that al-Iman is qawlun wa amal. Statement and action. The statement of what?
قول والعمل والقلب
Mhm.
والقول والعمل الجراح يعني the body parts
Uh-huh.
and
So,
والعمل
okay, so it's a statement of the heart, statement of the heart, statement of the tongue, also action of the heart and action of the body parts. Right? Correct? What is the statement of the heart?
Belief.
Believing, right? What is the statement of the tongue?
Say.
Pronouncing the La ilaha illallah. طيب. What is the action of the heart?
Action of the heart.
Giving, praying, zakat, prayer.
The action of the heart.
Oh, heart. Believing in that.
Believing is the statement of the heart. You see, it's a terminology here. We have to fine tune it. Okay. More than that? Other than that?
Fear,
Love, fear. Okay. Type. Then the action of the body parts.
Salah, zakat.
The actions. Okay. So we have statement of the heart, which is belief. Right? We have the action or the statement of the tongue, which is the pronouncement of the kalima. We have the action of the heart,
Which is love and fear.
niyyah, intention, ikhlas, and love, and so on and so forth. And you have the action of the actions of the body parts, which are the good deeds that the people do with their body parts in general. طيب?
The people,
Okay.
Salah,
So now I will remind you, and this is question. Okay. This was the question number 160. What is the opposite of al-Iman? This is a very good question to bring in the...
this one
Huh?
exam.
Huh? Right? طيب. Question number 160.
160.
And then the question number 161. Remember in the beginning of the session, I asked you, are there any questions about last week's session?
I answered this.
Huh?
Sheikh, I answered the question. You asked me the question.
I said, yeah, but right now we are trying to get the answer to this question from the brother, which is how do you differentiate between major and minor, right?
Which contradicts the article of Islam is major.
Okay.
It's also
Yeah, but
It has-
there is specific terminology that was used here, right? For kufr asghar and kufr akbar that we need to know and differentiate between them, so we can tell what is major and what is minor. So iman is base, has a base and branches, right? And kufr also, it's the opposite of iman, so it has a base and branches, right? That's what he said, right? So the basis for al-iman is the submissive believing, right? You believe with submission, not believe just an information, okay, this is right, but believe with submitting to it, to follow it, to accept it, right? So this leads one to obedience, to surrender to Allah with obedience. The disbelief, the base for it is al-juhud wal-inad, denial or rejection and stubbornness or arrogance, right? Which leads to arrogance and disobedience, right? طيب. So he said after that, all obediences are branches of iman, all disobediences are branches of kufr. Then he said, if you know this now, then you know that al-kufru kufran, disbelief is of two types: greater kufr, that takes one outside of iman in totality, and that is, he said, al-kufru al-i'tiqadi, kufr of belief, al-munafi لقول القلب وعمله أو لأحدهما, that goes against the statement of the heart and the actions of the heart, or either one of them, or any one of them. The statement of the heart, which is believing, right? The action of the heart, which is intention, sincerity, love. طيب. So if it goes against both or one of them, then that's major disbelief. طيب. Then the other one is lesser disbelief, that goes against complete and perfect iman, right? But it does not go against all of it, does not go against iman in totality, right? And that is the kufr al-amali, the kufr of action, which does not conflict, does not contradict the statement of the heart nor the action of the heart, and does not necessitate that. The next question, even he elaborated more on that. He says, clarify to me how al-kufr al-i'tiqadi, kufr of belief, how is it negating iman in totality, and detail for me the generalization, right? You generalized when you said that it will remove iman in totality. You mentioned it in general, right? Now he wants the detail of how. How does it, يعني this kufr i'tiqadi, how does it negate iman in totality, and how does it remove it? Tell me, detail more. And he said, we previously mentioned that iman is a statement and action. The statement of the heart and the tongue, and the action of the heart, the tongue, and the body parts. So the statement of the heart is believing. The statement of the tongue is to say the word of Islam. The action of the heart is intention and sincerity. And the action of the body parts is surrendering, submission with all acts of obedience. He said now, so if all of these four are gone, what are these four? What are these four? What is he referring to?
The action
it's in there. It's in there, in front of you. The statement of the heart, its action, the statement of the tongue, and the actions of the body parts. If those four, all of them are not there, is there iman? There is no iman at all, right? So iman is gone in totality. Now, if the belief of the heart is gone, the belief of the heart is not there, right? Then would the rest of them benefit? Yani someone who comes and he prays with us here, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ يعني. He prays like the others, but he doesn't really believe it. He doesn't really believe in this. But he does it because he wants to be like everybody else, right? Maybe if he doesn't, or if he shows it that he doesn't believe, then his wife will leave him and his children will, right? And his father and mother will, not recognize him anymore, like, yani, declare themselves free and innocent of him. So he doesn't believe, but he does those actions. So he's going with the flow, right? So he's saying La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? He's saying that, right? And he is doing those actions, but then he doesn't have the tasdeeq, he doesn't have the belief in him. So all of this, wal-'iyadhu billah, is not, right? Then all of the rest are not going to be, they don't count at all. Okay. Now, he says that believing or belief of the heart is a condition for them to be established and for them to be beneficial, right? And that is like the one who rejects the names of Allah and His attributes or anything which His messengers came with, yani He sent His messengers with, or He sent down in His books. Now he said, and if the action of the heart is gone, along with believing the truthfulness of the messenger, yani, but the action of the heart is not there, yani he truly believes that this is a true messenger from Allah, but there is no intention and no sincerity in following him. He doesn't want. Yani, does Iblis know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Does he recognize that the messengers are messengers from Allah? But he believes that. He has the belief. He believes that. Right? He is even making an oath by Allah, by the might of Allah. بِعِزَّتِكَ لَأُغْوِيَنَّهُمْ, I will sway them all. He is making an oath by the might of Allah. He knows Allah is mighty. He has the belief. Right? He has the belief. Right? But then he doesn't have the action of the heart, which is intention and sincerity. And I'm not only I know it, I'm submitting to it. I'm submitting to it by heart. There is submitting by heart and submitting by the body parts, right? The submitting of the heart precedes submitting the actions of the body parts. When the heart is completely submissive, that's when the body parts, they start doing actions, right? So the fact that if the action of the heart is not there, right? If the action of the heart is not there, right? So Ahlus Sunnah, the people of Sunnah, they all unanimously agree that Iman is gone completely by the action of the heart not being present, right? They agree all. And that even believing without having the action of the heart, which is his love and his submission, yani again the terms, yani he used intention and sincerity before, niyatuhu wa ikhlasu. Now he's using for the action of the heart, mahabbatuhu wa inqiyaduhu, right? It's love and it's submission, right? He said, like Iblis and Fir'aun and his people and the Jews and the Mushrikeen, those who used to believe the truthfulness of the messenger, rather they affirm that secretly and openly. And they say he's not a liar. They say he's not a liar. But we do not follow him and we do not believe in him. Right? That's what they used to say. Yani, he is a true messenger, but we were not. Yes, Allah sent you, but we're not believing you. Right? We're not submitting. Yani, we don't have this intention and sincerity, love and submission to follow the order that came to you from Allah. Although we believe that you are receiving revelation from Allah, but then we don't want. That's what they say. We don't want to follow it. This is the action of the heart. Right? That's why he said also about al-Iman that it is the definition, other than the 6 pillars of faith. He said at-tasdiq al-id'ani, right? Submission, that is believing that is submissive type of belief. Back to question 160, he said, you have known from what has been mentioned previously that the base of al-Iman is at-tasdiq al-id'ani. Not just, yeah, we believe you, okay, and that's it. Right? Yani, belief that is you submit to the news. Yani if someone came right in now and he said like, there's a big fire here. So you tell him, yeah, thank you. You continue. This is a belief, right? That is not, if true. Yeah, if you believe it, then you get up and right, run away, right? You believe and you submit to the news. Yeah, you're not just okay. Thank you, good information, and then what, right?
Not doing it.
So belief is not just believing, attributing truthfulness to the reporter, right? It is attributing truthfulness to the report of the reporter and saying, I abide by it, I submit to it. I submit to it by my heart and by my body parts, right? So this is the case here. So then he detailed the information about the major kufr, and he mentioned that it is 4 types according to what he mentioned here, or the categories that he mentioned. And there are those who mentioned 5, there are those who mentioned 6, but then he mentioned 4. We'll use the 4 that he mentioned. And then question 168, he said about someone who is prostrating to an idol, right? Someone who is ridiculing the book, or waliyadu billah, insulting a messenger, making fun of the religion, right? Those actions, those things, statements and actions, right? So they take one outside of the fold of Islam. So he was saying, how do these things, they take one outside of Islam when they are just actions, right? So he said that if the action includes in it that which negates the statement of the heart or the action of the heart. Someone who believes in the Quran, would he treat the Quran with despise? He wouldn't, right? If he truly believes in it, he wouldn't treat it with despise. He would not despise the Quran. The fact that he despises the Quran, this shows that he doesn't have the statement of the heart or the action of the heart, or both. Or he is someone who is mistaken. He thought it's another book. That's a different story. Oh, wallahi, I didn't know it's the Quran. I thought it was the book authored by so and so, right? That's a different issue, a mistake. But he knows it's the Quran and he still despises it. This shows that he either A, does not believe in the Quran, meaning the statement of the heart is not there, or he actually does not have the action of the heart, which is the intention, the sincerity, the love and submission. He doesn't have that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done this, right? So these issues are very important. I think I mentioned before that Ahlus Sunnah, they are between two groups who went into the extremes. The extreme of the Khawarij, if you commit a major sin, then outside of Islam, right? And the extreme of the Murji'ah, which they basically, if your heart is right, just they focus on that. They don't care about the actions. The fact that you know Allah or you believe in Him, that's fine. Then all actions that happen from you, they don't care about it, right? So these are the two extremes, and Ahl Sunnah, they are taking a middle path or a middle course between the two. These are important issues. So how do you differentiate between, how do you Differentiate. Between major and minor. I can ask it in a different way so it won't be. List the differences between major and minor kufr. How is this question? You are ready for it to answer it? Inshallah. طيب. Question 173. ما حكم السحر والساحر? The ruling on sorcery and the sorcerer, magician and the magic. He said that سحر متحقق وجوده, يعني its existence is a reality. وتأثيره مصادفة القدر الكوني, يعني it has an effect. It has an effect that matches and agrees with القدر الكوني, the universal predestination. يعني whatever Allah decreed to happen in the universe. So magic has an effect that is agreeing with qadr, right? So it happens only by the will and the permission of Allah. If Allah didn't want it to happen, it won't happen. If Allah didn't want it to harm, it won't harm, right? But it has a reality, it has an effect, it matches the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Allah said, so they learn from both of them that by which they will separate between a person and his wife. And they are not going to harm with it anyone except by the permission of Allah. Its effect is affirmed in the authentic ahadith. As for the sorcerer, then if his sorcery or if his magic was from that which is received from Satan's, as the ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah has explicitly stated, then he is a disbeliever. فهو كافر. This ayah that we just mentioned. طيب. That is because of the statement of Allah Ta'ala, and they both do not teach anyone except that they say, both of them say to him, we are only fitna, we are only a trial. So do not disbelieve, فلا تكفر. Up to the statement of Allah Ta'ala, and they learn that which harms them and does not benefit them, and they have surely known that the one who اشتراه ما له في الآخرة من خلاق, that the one who gets involved in that, يعني gets involved in magic and sorcery, then he doesn't have a share of the next life.
So basically they can't enter into the paradise.
They
can't even enter the paradise.
Well, as he mentioned, if his sorcery, if his magic was from the type that is received from the Satans, as the ayah, the verse in Surah Al-Baqarah has explicitly stated, then he is a disbeliever. فهو كافر. Right? So the kafir has no place and no share in the paradise. Right? He has no share in paradise. His abode is the fire. The next question is, what is the set punishment of the sorcerer? Had al-sahir. He mentioned the hadith in the Sunan of Tirmidhi, which is a weak narration, that had al-sahir darbuhu bis-sayf. The set punishment for the magician is to be hit with the sword, right? To be killed, that is. And at Tirmidhi, he narrated it from Jundub, from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he صحح وقفه, and he authenticated that it is a statement of the companion radiallahu anhu, not a statement of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But and Imam al-Tirmidhi, he said that العمل على هذا عند بعض أهل العلم من أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وغيرهم وهو قول مالك بن أنس. This is what the some of the people of knowledge are acting upon from the companions of the messengers, the Prophet ﷺ, and other than them, it is the statement of Malik ibn Anas that the ruling, the set punishment of the magician is to be hit by the sword, to be killed. Right? So many of the scholars, or according to him here, some of the people of knowledge from the companions of the Prophet ﷺ and other than them, this is what they act upon, that the set punishment of the magician is to be killed. He said, and Ash-Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala said that the magician is only killed if he was doing of the sorcery that which reaches the level of disbelief. As for him, if he has done that which is less than disbelief, then he is not of the position, he did not opine that he would be killed. Right? Now, he said that the killing of the magician has been established from Umar, his son Abdullah, and his daughter Hafsa, Uthman ibn Affan, Jundub ibn Abdullah, Jundub ibn Ka'b, ibn Qais ibn Sa'd, and also Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, Ahmad, Abu Hanifa, and other than them, may Allah have mercy with them. So you can see that this is established from all of these, that this is the ruling of the sorcerer. This is the ruling of the sorcerer. Question number 175. What is an-nushra wa ma hukmuha? What is nushra and what is its ruling? An-nushra is to undo the sorcery from the one whom sorcery was done to. This is what is called an-nushra. Do they translate it or they just transliterate nushra?
It says charm. It says charm.
Charm.
Someone is affected with.
Mm-hmm.
But they kept Nushra.
The word nushra I'm asking about.
No, they didn't translate.
They did not translate it. Okay.
But no, they said it. Nushra is to remove the charm someone affected.
Yes, but I'm talking about the word itself. Yeah.
Affected with if
I don't think there is a word for it. There could be, I don't know, I didn't check really. And we need to look for a book about magic or something. So
The Christian, they use the word exorcism. Is it the same?
that's about jinn, to extract the jinn from someone.
From someone or from
Yes, but this is now to remove the sorcery from someone, to undo the magic, right? To undo the magic that is done to someone, right? To undo the magic. Yani nushra is magic undone, right? That's it. Sorcery, yani undoing the sorcery, okay? So if it was done with sorcery like it, with magic like it, then it is from the work of shaitan. And if it was with ruqa and ta'awidh al-mashru'ah, then there is no harm. Ruqa, the plural of ruqya, which are the words of remembrance that are used to seek the healing. Ta'awidh is the plural of ta'widha, which is ta'awudh, seeking refuge with Allah Azza wa Jal. Again, is just asking protection from Allah. So ruqya is to seek healing from Allah, And ta'weedh are the words that you use to seek the protection from Allah Azza wa Jal from those evils, right? So to undo the magic with magic like it, he said this is from the work of shaitan. But to undo the magic with ruqya and ta'weedh, then that's okay to seek. Of course, I think the word ta'weedh is used in Urdu, I think, for those things that they hang, right? That's not what is meant here. Ta'weedh, right, is the plural of seeking refuge with Allah Azza wa Jal, seeking the protection from Allah Azza wa Jal. Yani a'udhu billah, right? A'udhu billah, right? So if you are using that, right? So like if someone was, there is sorcery was done to someone, and you say u'idhuka billah min hadha as-sihr, right? This is how ta'weedh, yani. Like قل أعوذ برب الفلق. This is ta'weedh. أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق, right? Not the ta'weedh that unfortunately the word in Urdu, is it the same in Farsi too? Unfortunately, right? Ta'weedh in the Arabic is to for you to say to someone, for instance, أعيذك بالله from this, أعيذك بالله من شر الشيطان, أعيذك بالله, right? يعني this is the way. أعيذك بكلمات الله التامة من كل شيطان وهامة وكل عين لامة. This is ta'weedh, right? So if you do with different words, right? To do with different words, then that becomes ta'aweedh, right? You are asking Allah the shelter, protection, and refuge from Allah Azza wa Jal for that person, right? So if you are using the ruqya or the ta'aweedh, then that's okay. But to undo the magic with magic like it, then this is not allowed. This is from the action of the shaitan. This is the choice of the sheikh. The next question is الرقى المشروعة والرقى الممنوعة. Then تعليق التمائم. Then المعلق من القرآن. I think we can stop here.